football in particular, it is about opinions and timing as well. So every time I got a new pair of shoes, come back within a couple of weeks with holes in them, and that's how much I used to play. Sometimes you've got to be prepared and doing things in the background so that when that time comes and that light is shone on you, you're actually ready. Those two things, rapping and football, was my identity. One thing that we did, which was huge for us, which I didn't want to do, was premarital counselling. Mental health contributed to because of finances, because you don't know how you're going to take care of things. But obviously people who are self-employed or business owners where there is no sick pay, so that's what income protection does. So what life insurance does, it just gives your family a bit of peace of mind. Critical illness is another policy, so serious illness, so cancer, heart, stroke, plus many more. That's an insurance where if you diagnose with one of those conditions, then it can pay a lump sum. Sometimes we need that healing. Sometimes not everything we go through is positive, but you need to have that hope as well.
Greetings, people, and welcome back to another episode of Heartical Talks. And this time I am joined by a very special guest. It's somebody that I met a few years ago at a baby event, somebody who is very inspirational and has a lot to offer to the world, to our community, and runs his own business, which we'll find a little bit more out on this episode. But first of all, I want to welcome to the stage Mr. Cavell Coo. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you, man. I'm really good, man. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
All good, all good. It's an honor to have you here. And we're definitely going to be finding out a little bit more about your journey today. So first of all, I like to ask people in general, how are you doing today? How are things? How are you feeling?
You know what? I'm feeling good, Thank you, bro. Got a lot going on with me and my wife in our businesses where we feel that things are taking shape just to kind of take us to the next level. So just thanking God for that, man, and opportunities that are coming our way. In and amongst just kind of this life, man. Got a couple of children, so they're keeping us busy as well. But yeah, we're good. We're good in the whole.
Definitely. Good to hear that, bro. And as you know, November is Men's Mental Health Month. So I think it's only right to have these types of conversations, to be asking ourselves as brothers those types of questions, like how are you really though,
Yeah, for real, man.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, so we're just going to start with your story, so the people listening can get to know you a little bit better. So tell me a little bit more about you, Cavell. I know you're from Manchester. Some of us ignorant Londoners only know Manchester for the football, but I know there's a lot more to it. So, for those people who don't know, tell me a little bit more about your upbringing and what it was like growing up in Manchester.
Where do I start, man? Well, I don't think you have to even say that I'm from Manchester to tell from my accent that I'm from up here. But no, Manchester's cool, man. Born and raised here. Heritage, so my mum's side's West Indian and dad's side's Nigerian. But I grew up more with my mum's side, with my mum. Life was cool. I will say I grew up with like a silver spoon in my mouth or anything like that. So it was a bit of a graft and stuff. But can't complain. Good upbringing. Church upbringing as well. My grandparents were big into church. My granddad was a pastor as well. So I was there. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents too. Me, I always had a passion for football. So as a kid growing up, I was always just kicking ball down the street, whether it's in areas like Longside, where my grandparents lived, or Didsbury, Burnage area, where my mum lives. Some people around Manchester will know those sides. So it was cool, man. I was a good kid, never really in trouble like that. I think at one point I was about to walk on the wrong path, but my uncle, my mum's brother, found out. I was like, well, let me see you messing about. And then, that alone put the fear of God into me, man, to make sure I just try and do the right things growing up. But Manchester's cool in general. I've been to London a couple of times, but Manchester's like a more calmer version of London, not as busy. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool up here.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, before I moved to Birmingham, not going to lie, I was very ignorant about anything past the M25, but definitely visiting Manchester a few times and other parts of the UK. There is so much culture, there is so much to learn as well. So from what I'm hearing you say, community sounds very important to you, especially on like, the religious side, family, you mentioned your uncle. So what was it like sort of having that community around you growing up?
Yeah, growing up, going back to my younger days, really, in Longside in particular, very multicultural. So West Indian, Asian, community was really good. So playing out on the street, there was loads of us that were out there. It was more of a village type background and society where everyone's looking after everyone, looking out for each other, which is good. It was safe. As I actually get older, things have changed a little bit, but when I was young, so I was born in 87, so early 90s, going back a little bit. It was cool, man, and yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, definitely. And, growing up, it's important to like have role models. So like, who were your role models like within the community that you kind of looked up to?
Good question, man. I would probably say my uncles. One of them in particular, he was just like the cool guy. Everyone knew him. He knew how to handle himself, spoke well, dressed well, and was just well respected. So he was just someone that I always looked up to. Was into football as well. So that helped me because I loved football. So got a little bit of inspiration from him. I would say that was it really, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. And you said it a few times. I know you are an avid Manchester United fan, which we won't go into too much today. Yeah, no, we're at least turning a corner a little bit, which is a positive. But what was it like sort of kind of being into football, but then doing something a step further, which is actually making those dreams a reality in terms of playing professional football and then semi-pro football?
Yeah, so it's all I knew. Like I said, when I was a kid, growing up, playing on the street, I used to be my mum's heading because every time I got a new pair of shoes, I come back within a couple of weeks with holes in them. That's how much I used to play. Whether it was football on the street, football on the PlayStation, Pro Evo. I'm not a FIFA fan, Pro Evo fight. And just watching Match of the Day back then as well. Some of my heroes, I guess. Obviously supporting United. You got the class of 92 guys. Other footballers as well, like your Ronaldos and skillful footballers. So for me, I had the opportunity to join a local club, a team called Fletcher Moss Rangers. For those in Manchester, they'll know they were quite renowned for bringing through players who went on to go and play professionally, like Wes Brown, Ravel Morrison, Rashford. They all come through this team. So I had the opportunity to play for them. And then I got scouted for a team called Crew Alexandra when I was in high school, around about year 10. So about 14, 15. But I was considered late because most kids now, when they go to clubs, they're there from like 5, 6, 7. When I was playing from like age 10. So I did miss out on a lot of schoolage getting signed at that time. But then had the opportunity to play for them. So when I left school, I did my schoolage there. I had a scholarship with them. So it gave me a lot of focus as well. And then had the opportunity to play professionally. So I got a pro contract there, which was a blessing because that is always what I wanted to do. And then I guess with football in particular, it is about opinions and timing as well. So when the manager changed, I wasn't his cup of tea, as people like to say. He had a different, philosophy, so I didn't fit that. So when I got released, played semi-pro for a number of years, up until lockdown actually. But I had a good career, played semi-pro. I played for a team called Salford City, which the class of 92 took over, which was full circle really, because I got to meet those guys like your Gary Neville, Scholes, Giggs, Phil Neville. So that was a really good experience as well, man. So yeah, it was good.
Definitely. It sounds, like, your dream came true in that sense. You grew up looking up to certain players, within that class of 92. And then you're actually playing for the team, that some of them still own to this day or that they're a part of. Yeah. So was you actually there when they did take over?
Yeah, I was there, man. So it was when I was about 27. I was kind of hitting the peak of my powers, and I played against them in the FA Cup. This was the first year they took over, and it was funny because I was speaking to my friend back then. He was my wife, and I was like, if I play well against this team, I think I'll get a move, because literally everything was just going for me. I was just proper confident and stuff, and played against them. And Gary Neville and Paul Scholes was watching the game because they're very hands-on watching and stuff. So I was playing for a team called Ashton United, and we got a draw in that game. I played really well, and then the replay, we played them at their ground. We beat them 2-1, and again played well. So I'm not sure if I should share this, but after those games, they got their captain to message me on Twitter, inbox me on Twitter. I knew him anyway because he was at Ashton the season before, and he was like, "Look, Gary Neville wants to sign you." I was like, oh, "Okay," and he goes, "Yeah, just keep it quiet." Kind of sharing it now, but keep it quiet. But after a week's time, they're going to put 7 days notice in for you, and if you want to come, you can come. So I was like, yeah, give it a go, man, because obviously it was an opportunity. It's not something that you come by all the time. So it was good just to go down there, man, and represent the club while I was there.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And did you get to have any like direct conversations with them whilst being at the club?
Yeah. So I remember the first training session I went down. It was a training at some rugby club in Salford Rugby Club. So they've got like a AstroTurf around there. And as I'm walking down, I could see Phil Neville in the distance. So as I'm walking, it's getting closer. Got to where everybody was like stood. And then he goes, "Oh, you're right, Cav." I'm like, "What?" You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, "Oh, this Phil Neville." He's like, "You're right, Cav." So he just goes to show that they do their homework. There wasn't like big time. They want to make everybody feel welcome. And then, they were just calm. Paul Scholes were joining training quite a bit as well. Early on, just like playing, and everyone was in awe. But he was just doing his thing, and he was like, "Wow, these guys are serious, man." I remember at the end of the season, we had like a mess about match between us, and they joined in. Ryan Giggs was there as well. And you'd think that Ryan Giggs is a bit of a slight person, but he's wide. I remember I got a picture next to him, and I was quite, built myself in terms of like going to the gym and stuff, but he made me look small. I was like, wow, these guys, man. So when you see them on TV, like, you got to give them respect, man. I think these are some serious athletes. So it was a really good experience, man. It was good.
Yeah, that's amazing. And as you know, you learn a lot on the pitch. You learn a lot from, the teams you started off playing for Salford. But what kind of personal qualities or skills did you learn by playing football that you maybe even carry on with you to this day?
Yeah, I think determination, preparation as well. Preparation is a big one because there's some things in life you can't kid a kidder. You got to prepare. So for me, I played a position right back, and I used to pride myself on making sure I don't get beat. So sometimes I'd have the hardest job on the pitch. So normally my opponent is the winger. They tend to be fast, skillful. Because I'm not that tall compared to some of the guys as well. I'm 5'8". Some guys are like 6 foot, whatever it may be. So I had to do extra, make sure I go to the gym, make sure, I feel good, I feel fit, feel strong. Because come match day, there's nowhere to hide. In those times where I'm on 1v1, it's on me to make sure that I, give a good representation of myself, not let my teammates down. And it's the same with life as well and business, which I'm sure we'll talk about. There's times where opportunities come your way, but you've got to be prepared. You can't wing it. Sometimes you can, fake it till you make it, as people say, but sometimes you've got to be prepared and doing things in the background so that when that time comes and that light is shone on you, you're ready, to put your best foot forward. So that was a big thing for me. And just going an extra mile, man. Discipline as well. Because it's a funny old thing, football. You feel like you're almost like in the army, like what they say goes, you kind of got to drop everything to make sure you're there, you're available. I remember when I was at Crew, actually missed my dad's wedding, got married abroad because I was in there and I had to train every day and so forth. My dad was like, "Look, this is your opportunity, just do your thing and we'll see you when you get back." So yeah, that focus as well. Yeah.
And that really sounds important, just learning those skills and being able to transfer them, to other areas of your life as well.
Okay.
And I'm sure for most of your life, football was like part of your identity in the sense of training, playing, etc. So at what point did you kind of make the decision to step away from football? And when you did, what was it like then making that transition?
Yeah, it's been a massive part of my identity. Just growing up through school, I was known as that guy who, anyone said my name, Cavell, like, yeah, he's good at football. Not my words, their words, of course. Humble. So when I was doing that throughout my life, it did become a big part of it. So I stopped after lockdown. I didn't go back. So I was working. So when I was playing semi-pro, how that works is I worked as normal, but then I'd play semi-professionally like 3 times a week. So weekends and then 2 times during the week. So during lockdown, obviously everything was shut down. I stopped working and got made redundant. And then I picked up some work doing delivery driving for a little bit of time just to make some money for the family and stuff. But then that role was just so unpredictable. So when things started opening up again and football was there, I didn't know what time I was going to finish. So I couldn't commit to, finish at a set time so that I can go and train or go and play. I'm sure we'll get into it, but I had a family as well back then. So I had to be around my family as well. So after lockdown, this didn't go back because I wanted to spend time with family. And then when I was working, I couldn't really commit. So it was one of them because I thought I'd be one of those players who played till, late 30s because I had the genes for it, the genetics. And, but yeah, it didn't really work out to be that way. But it did have an impact though. It did have an impact because for a while I was like, what do I do? Twiddling my thumbs on a Saturday thinking I would normally be playing, competing. But not just that, which is something you probably didn't know about me, is that I used to do a lot of gospel music as well, like rap music. So those 2 things in terms of like rapping and football was my identity. So during lockdown when everything stopped and I weren't doing that, it was like kind of felt a little bit lost for a bit because I just kind of got into fatherhood, marriage as well. So that became my new identity and there's no rule book for that. So I was kind of figuring things out. So yeah, it was a transitional period.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll get into the bars. I've seen some bits on social media, so we'll get into them shortly. But like you're saying, identity, having to make some changes, at a really difficult time, within the pandemic as well. So it does sound like even on a mental health level, that time was quite difficult for you, sort of like making that transition.
Yeah, it was a weird one, man. Like obviously it's something that we never ever experienced before. Luckily for me, like we've got a good wife. We love each other. We're comfortable in our, environment. So that was fine being at home with my wife and stuff. But it was a mad time, man. It's like, how did that even happen? You know what I mean? When you look back. But it took a bit of getting used to. Almost like a new version of myself 2.0, which didn't involve football as much. Plus, he spoke about United. That used to get me down as well. So that's my passion for football from that alone. But yeah, that was me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you mentioned your wife, but you also mentioned her being your friend. And this is something that I've said to people over the years. It's even reflective of my relationship with my fiance, is that we were friends before we even, got together, sort of thing. So tell me about that, like being friends, with your wife and then her then becoming like a girlfriend, fiance, and then your wife. Tell me about that journey.
Yeah, it was interesting, man. So we met through mutual friends that we go to church with. It's like a house gathering. We met, got introduced, and it was like a hi, bye sort of thing. Nothing there. Then over time, we just became friends ourselves. She invited some people over to her house. And I was one of them because of association. And then when we was there, I just remember I was having a chat for ages. Felt like the whole night we were just talking. And then we just became friends, man. And we would, go see each other, go cinemas or go for food or whatnot. Just on that level, though, there wasn't anything there. And I think for me, obviously being a Christian as well, I was kind of like careful about what I'd done as well. So it was just a friendship thing, and it developed into something else, into more, which helped, man, because we had those roots that was already put down deep in terms of a friendship thing. So we had a lot to talk about. We had a lot in common. She was into music. She supports United as well, even though she's from Wolverhampton and family support United. So that was good. Her brothers, so one of them played football and one of them rapped as well. So there's a lot of things in common there as well. So maybe that's where some of the attraction came from, because she could see maybe some of me in her brothers, or some of her brothers in me, which was good. So yeah, man, it's one of them which really helps when you go from that place of long-term relationship, marriage, to have that foundation of a solid friendship. And so, yeah, that helps.
Definitely. And these are the stories that we need to hear, these real life stories of friendship, of commitment, of love, of a strong, solid foundation, as well.
Yeah.
And then tell me what it is like to be a father, but then what it was also like to become a father in the first place, because it's a big step, it's a big transition.
Yeah, it is. Just to back to that one moment as well in regards to our relationship, when I get into fatherhood, one thing that we did, which was huge for us, which I didn't want to do, was premarital counselling, which was mega. And I would recommend that to any couple who are looking to, get married. Premarital counselling just sets you up for what to expect in terms of the importance of communicating, how to communicate, how to handle conflicts, which was amazing. Obviously, parenthood as well, which I'll go into now. So obviously part of our plans was to have children by the grace of God, and got 2 girls now. One's 5, one's 3. So going from obviously being a single man to married, working things out on your own. Like I said before, there's no real rule book. You kind of working it out as you go along. And I wouldn't say that I had any massive, anyone that I could look up to kind of see how they done it per se. Because my parents were together, my grandparents were, but they were older, you know what I mean? So different times, but I could take 1 or 2 things from it. But I think the premarital counselling helped a lot. And how we were was like, you know what, even though we're from the same culture, because her family, West Indian descent, and also my mum's side is as well, we still grew up in 2 different households, or how she would do things, how I would do things were different. But then we thought, like, how are we going to do things? How are we going to raise our children? What did we see that was good in our, with our families growing up? What wasn't good? And then what can we bring into it that's going to make things the best we can have it for our children? So I think it's a partnership, man. That's what our marriage is as well. It's a partnership. So yeah,
definitely. All right, you took it there, so I'm going to meet you there as well. In terms of, again, sometimes from the outside we'll just see the journey, we'll see the glow up, we'll see the children, the marriage. But as you're saying, having that solid foundation of, the premarital counselling actually helped you to have that safe space together. And then I guess dealing with some of the difficulties that we experienced, the pandemic, etc. Even parenting, as amazing as it is, there are times when both parties are tired, etc., etc. So how do you both manage those transitions now, or those changes that you experience?
Well, that's it. That's exactly it. We just manage and somehow
you just find
a way. Yeah. So in Manchester, I think it's important to have a family network if you can, which helps, and to support. In Manchester, my family's not as close compared to my wife's in Wolverhampton. So it's kind of twofold. When we're in Wolverhampton, there's a lot of support there. We've got parents, aunties, uncles, siblings who can help, if we want to do something, or I'll have the children, it's easy. When we're at home, especially now as we're both entrepreneurs, she's got her business, I've got mine. It's about communicating as much as possible, even things in the calendar. Okay, what have you got on today? What have you got on tomorrow? What have you got for the week? So we can both plan. So it's about that constant communication, which helps. My dream and desire was always to be a present dad. I want to have that relationship with my children, but I also want to support my wife. She's the most important person to me, after God, of course. So it's about supporting her, and helping her, because I didn't see it as her doing everything, looking after the children, doing everything in the home. Like, it's a partnership. I got my part to play as well. So yeah, it's just about communicating as much as possible, so we know what we're thinking, and being open, which isn't always easy to do. It's something I've learned over time, to do that. And then, we'll try and make it work and manage.
Definitely. And it's real people need to hear real stories, So, yeah. thanks for sharing that. And also what you said there about being a present dad. For some people, you know, that does mean physically, but even for some people that have had a dad that was there physically, sometimes dads aren't there emotionally or even spiritually as well. So I guess with what you're saying there, it's across the board. It's kind of on every level, even holding space and making space for your wife as well as your children.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Because when you have a child, man, it's special. It's something different. Obviously, the first one it's the first time, so the emotions and the love you have, it's just something you never experienced before. So I don't want that to go to waste. You know, obviously everyone's in a different position. For us with the marriage, it was about us both being there as much as we can. And you're right in what you say. It's about actually being where your feet are, not just about being present. Actually be there, emotionally, mentally as well, and you know, to stimulate your children. So as much as I kind of just try and set aside that time where we can just play and you know, kind of create that space where they can come and talk to us about what's on their mind. You know, you got to appreciate, although they're so young, our children, they've got a lot going on. You know what I mean? They're smarter than we think at times. So that's what it's been about for me. And the big thing for me, I touched on it before when I was doing a delivery drive and then my transition into it and what I'm doing now. There was a time where I left the house early before my eldest woke up. She was probably about 1 at a time, if that. And then I got home after she went to bed and I didn't see her for the whole day. And for me, that it killed me when I was like, wow, I've only seen my daughter today. You know what I mean? And that was almost a turning point for me when I moved into what I'm doing now, because I was like, that can't be my story. I want to make sure that I see her. Because I got 2 girls, I see them, they see me. And just develop that strong father-daughter relationship.
Yeah, it really radiates out of you. You can hear it like loud and clear, because it is easy there it's easy to put money on the table, but to kind of be there physically and emotionally is so important. So again, credit to you for having that awareness, but then also making and taking the right steps to be there on every level, you know, for your family.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Yeah, credit to you. So football, financial protection. Tell me a bit more about that in terms of that transition, because I know in between there was the delivery driver work as well. So what was it like making that transition?
Yeah, so how I got into it, it was almost by accident, fell into it. So I missed something out in my story. So I used to do a little bit of network marketing, and I was on a journey for a while of just financial literacy and understanding that just having a 9 to 5, I can't say for everybody, but it might not give you the lifestyle that you want. And when I say lifestyle, it's not just about the riches and stuff, but the ability to make decisions when you want to do things. Because on a 9 to 5, sometimes you got to ask permission when you clock in, when you clock out. You know, it's quite structured. So to have the life that I've got now, where I can see my children throughout the day, during school now it's different, but to be able to pick them up, got to attend things. I was on a journey of finding a way of making an income outside of a 9 to 5. So when I had my 9 to 5, got made redundant, just before lockdown. So I was living off that savings for a bit, and then things got a little bit tight. I'll be real. So I was like, you know what? Let me just pick up some work. But the delivery driving, like I said before, it was tough. It was an easy job, but it was still tough at the same time. Then one of my friends who I played football with at FC United and Curzon Ashton, I seen him put a post on Facebook saying, is anyone interested in an additional income stream? So with me being on that financial journey, understanding that it's important to have, different sources of income if you can, thought, let me just check it out. So got in touch with it. I was like, I seen that post, what is it about? And basically it was saying that he's working with a broker, an insurance brokerage, where they do like life insurance, all that kind of stuff, critical illness. And if you refer people to them, friend, your family, if they take out a policy, then, they'll pay you a referral fee, and there's a decent amount as well. So like, don't know much about the industry. I didn't know much about the industry at all. I was like, you know what? I'll give it a go. Because one of the things that they could do is injury cover. So with my background with football, I know that injuries are a big part of it. So more and more nowadays, footballers taking cover out to protect themselves financially in case they couldn't work. So I thought, yeah, there's a market there. I could probably go into a few clubs, speak to the guys. And as I was doing that, I noticed I was getting a decent referral fee, and it was enough for me to take a step back from the delivery driving job. So I was able to go down from 5 days a week to 4, then from 4 to 3. And I was like, right, okay. And then what it was someone that I referred, a friend of mine from London, actually. And unfortunately, his 2-year-old at the time passed away from a brain tumor, which was tough, man. And it was tough thinking about it as well, because my eldest daughter is the same age. She was 2 when it happened as well. And from the little knowledge I had at the time, I knew that depending what policy it took out, I didn't know because of data protection reasons. Sometimes policies have children cover included in there. So what I did, I spoke to the broker and said, look, this has happened to this person. Can you get in touch and see, what he's got and see if we can help? And luckily, the policy that he took out had that element to it as well. So I know that no amount of money can ever replace anyone at all. But it helped a lot financially for him and his wife, because his wife didn't work at the time. He worked in a school, needed time off to grieve. And as we know, which I will probably get into at some point, when it comes to finances, if you need time to do things, money gives you options to do certain things. So that allowed him to take that time, and he was just so thankful. So just seeing that experience, I thought, wow, how can I get this message out there more? So my belief in insurance, which we'll talk about, grew a lot more. Like, let me get into it, get my license, become an advisor myself, and not just refer people, but start doing something that I like. Because it's funny, because when I used to play football, when I was going through my scholarship days, my mum and different people would always say to me, what would you do if football didn't work out? And I used to hate that question, because all I wanted to do was be a footballer. But there's only a small remnant of people who do make it to that level where that's their career. They can retire after playing. But I never knew what I wanted to do. And until I started doing what I'm doing now, there was nothing that I really enjoyed. But now I enjoy what I do, having, tough conversations and putting things in place that can help people. So it was a journey from almost just seeing that post. The algorithm worked for me that day. So I thank God, man, that I saw that post about additional income stream, because then now I'm in this sector. I've been in it for about 5 years now.
Yeah. And sometimes they say everything happens for a reason. And for you to even be able to offer what you did to your friend, through such a difficult time, that must have felt so helpful and so touching, for him to kind of receive that support. So, credit to you for being able to do that. And yeah, just tell me a little bit more, because now I know that you have your own company, Life and Legacy. So tell me, what it was like, kind of gaining more experience and building yourself up in the field, and then what it was like to make that transition to then create your own company.
Yeah, man. So the broker that I was referring to when I first started was the broker that I got my license through in terms of becoming an advisor, called Bespoke Health. And it was a great introduction into the industry of financial services, because the training I got, the support I got was second to none. Just learning my trade. So, I was helping families, from all backgrounds, from all over the country, put policies in place to give them that financial and family protection, which is important because, we just don't know what's around the corner. I've had a few claims myself. I had one person, a professional footballer who I looked after, and young, fit, athlete, age 24. I got a call about 2 years ago, actually, that he was diagnosed with cancer. Luckily, it wasn't terminal, just needed a bit of treatment. But it goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are, that things can happen. So I was working in that brokerage for about 4 years as an advisor. And then the next step was for me just to, open my own brokerage as well. So come January of this year, well, it was December 2024, but I was able to trade in it from January. My brokerage, Life and Legacy, got signed off by the FCA. So I trade under my own brokerage now. Doing the same thing, but for myself, man. And it's a blessed position to be in, because like I said, I enjoy what I do. But to be able to do it for myself, it was like, wow, I've actually got my own business now. So with that comes a lot of responsibility and work. So I'm still learning. But now I'm enjoying it, man. It's good.
Yeah, no, that's amazing to hear, that journey of gaining experience, but then being able to make that transition to work for yourself and, have your own business and to be FCA accredited, that's a big deal, as well.
Yeah, for real.
So credit to you. So yeah, tell me a bit more about like the products and, the services that you offer.
Yeah. So there's a few things. So mainly life insurance does what it says on the tin. Like I said before, the ratio of people passing away is still 1 in 1. None of us are going to live forever. So what life insurance does, it just gives your family a bit of peace of mind if anything was to happen. There's so many times I see on social media where people have passed away and I'm seeing GoFundMe pages because, let's get it right. It costs a lot to live. You know what I mean? How things are now financially, the cost of living is at its highest, but it also costs a lot to die as well, unfortunately. So it's a tough conversation to have, but it's a real one. So life insurance just gives you the opportunity to leave something behind, whether it's to take care of a mortgage, because a mortgage is great. You got a house there, but until it's paid off, it's just another debt, and probably the largest debt people will have in their lives. So to put things in place to make sure that, the lenders don't come back and take the property, you're leaving that behind, or you're leaving somebody to set your kids up or your grandchildren up. That's what life insurance does. Critical illness is another policy. So serious illness, so cancer, heart attack, stroke, plus many more. That's an insurance where if you're diagnosed with one of those conditions, then it can pay a lump sum. So even yourself or anyone that listens to this, we probably all know someone, unfortunately, who may have been diagnosed with a serious illness, and the impact it can have, whether it's a case of they can't work for a period of time, might not be able to work again. We still gotta live. We still gotta take care of things, and if we can't, our biggest asset, away from having physical things, property, investments, our biggest asset is ourselves. So if we can't do certain things, how are we going to survive? So what critical illness does, it pays a lump sum, and you can do with that whatever you want, whether it's to contribute to a mortgage, cover your rent, pay for different type of treatment that you might not get from the NHS to help you recover, wherever it may be. And then another insurance or product I can offer is something called income protection. And again, that's for people who, if you're working, not a lot of people get a really good sick pay, so they might get their salary for a period of time, like a month. If you're working for a local authority, great, you might get it for 6 months. But most people, they might get something called statutory sick pay, which isn't a lot, just over £100 a week. And not a lot of people can, or anyone can live off that. And then you've got obviously people who are self-employed, or they might be business owners where there is no sick pay. So if you're not earning, if you're not working because you can't, because you're ill or you've got an injury, then how are you going to take care of those outgoings? So that's what income protection does. So yeah, man, that's what I offer at the moment. I'm actually studying right now to get my mortgage license so I can become a mortgage advisor as well. So it's all part of the life and legacy thing in terms of helping people, fulfill their dreams of owning their own home and giving the right advice. Because I take it seriously, man. I love giving advice, even when I speak to people who have got policies in place already. I'm always inquisitive to find out, okay, is that the right thing for you? If it is, great. If it isn't, have you considered this? And yeah, that's what I offer.
Yeah. And amazing to hear, like, just listening to you talk, and the knowledge, is just profound. And I'll be real, people. Cavell has helped me, to have those products and services, life insurance, critical illness cover, all of these different aspects that are important for my life and my legacy, in the sense. And it wasn't until having that conversation with you, Cavell, where it made me think about my son, it made me think about my partner, it made me think about my family. And seeing some of the elders in my community, even at the age of 38, my mom suffering a stroke and a brain aneurysm and being paralyzed for life, and then the house having to be sold for less than what it was worth, and just the divide that it created in my family, something as simple as life insurance or critical illness could have made such a difference, to her life and legacy, as well. So I think that's, such a credit to you for sort of having the knowledge and the skills that you do have, but then also adding on to it now, with the mortgage side, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I'm not sure if you told me about your mum, man. I'm sorry to hear that as well, and what happened as a consequence. But the realness of, we don't know what tomorrow holds. We can be fit as anything today, and come tomorrow, things can change. And it's that mindset. And again, going back to football, when I said about preparation, there was always a saying that some of the footballers used to say, if you fail to prepare to fail. And it's like, wow. And these are the sort of things that, is, again, another saying, sometimes it's best to have something and not need it than to need it and not have it. And I see it a lot of times where I do have conversations because obviously with what I do, it's about educating, really. I don't see myself as a salesman or salesperson, and just have a conversation, present the facts. What you do is up to you. I'm not someone that's pushy. And there's been times I've probably reached out to a couple of people and they're like, yeah, we'll sort it out. I'll get back to you, or not for now. And I'm using this as an example. There was 2 people did that to me about over a year ago. And then not too long ago, 2 people, the same 2 people, both shared. One of them had a near-death experience and another one was diagnosed with cancer. Luckily, by the grace of God, both of them, it wasn't terminal. They're recovering. I think they've recovered now, but it had a massive impact on them. And for me, it's like, all I can do is share that information, you know what I mean? And again, if you're not prepared, I don't know how, their lives were impacted on the financial standpoint from that point. But having something like this in place, I know would have helped. So it's just about getting that information out there. And helping as many people as possible, man, because it's what some of the more financial astute people do, which allows them to leave a legacy for their family, for their children. So yeah, we need to take advantage of that as well.
Definitely. And as you were talking, it made me think that we insure our cars, our phones, contents insurance, house insurance. Yeah. But what about our lives? What about those people around us, our loved ones? Ms. Wondrica is really important because, like you say, we don't know what's around the corner. So
nah, man. And the thing is, unless you've got, a number of zeros in your account, then we probably need it. You know what I mean? Because even if you got a family, you got young children, they say you can look it up on the internet. I don't know where they get it from, but it costs about 180,000 or something crazy to raise a child to age 18, which is a lot of money. So unless you've got that in your account, but even with myself, so obviously I'm on this side of the fence now and I'm an advisor, but before I took my insurance out, which is around about lockdown time, my wife was asking me a few times to take it out because it was something that she had because she had a property before we got together. So more times than not, mortgage advisors would recommend take out life insurance. So she was telling me to do it and I kept putting it off for some reason. I don't know, but it wasn't seeing the importance of it like a lot of people I speak to now. And then I remember watching a YouTube video on like some sort of finance thing. And at the start, they was talking about life insurance. And when you hear the same message, but for some reason you get the message, the light switch is on. It happened for me. And I was thinking about my wife where she was pregnant at the time, got a mortgage. And I was thinking, wow, if anything did happen to me, my salary is going to be out of the household, should be in the lurch, literally. So literally within a couple of days, my life insurance was there. It was done. And it's not something I think about, it's just in the background. So that if anything happens, family taken care of, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's so important, man.
Definitely. And as you know, sometimes these conversations are difficult to have about money, about future planning, about death, but
yeah,
again, it's so important. What barriers do you kind of face, or do you think there are sort of when it comes to our families or our communities around these?
Yeah, things? You know what? I think it's education as well, understanding what it is, because perception. A lot of people think that life insurance, I was touching on that for now, is for when you get old, when you're 50, 60, but who says we're going to get to that age anyway? Some people might think it's too expensive to take out insurance, but it's not, because a good advisor that you speak to would tailor it to your budget and say, what is affordable to you? Let's see what we can get for that amount, because something's better than nothing. Some people, it's funny because obviously I'm a Christian man of faith myself, and I've actually spoke to people, Christians in particular, and they're like, nah, man, it's going to be all right. God will look after me. Right. I'm like, listen, God is good, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't mean things can't and won't happen. So it's better to prepare and put yourself in a position where you can look after your children, your children's children. And some things are inevitable. It's just about being smart. And if you can, you know what I mean? I know not everyone's going to take it out. Some people might not take it out because they've got finances there. And I don't push it on anyone who, when I've had a conversation with them and I can see, you know what, you might not need it because you've got assets there that can be sold. If you want to, you've got X amount of money in the bank. You might not need it. You might just need enough to cover funeral costs. You might not need to leave money for, you know what I mean? So everyone's different, but they're the main things. Just, I guess, a lack of understanding, a preconception of it being expensive. And just time, people just put things off. You know what I mean? We are busy people. I get that. Sometimes a case of, you know what, I can't do it right now, or the thing is going to take too long. But just setting aside half an hour in your day to get the right advice, to then allow an advisor to go and do their job, speak to the providers for you, find the best thing based upon your circumstance, allow them to do that. And then, yeah, you're good to go. But one thing I would say that a lot of people might not know is that it is a bit of a luxury when it comes to insurance. Not everyone is eligible for it, depending on your medical history, what you do in your life, you know, in terms of, like, say, recreational drugs or whatever. So it is a luxury. You know what I mean? It's not a guarantee that everyone qualifies for it anyway, depending on the type of insurance. But yeah, I think it's something to consider.
Definitely. And like you said, education is so important, you know, as well. So Cavell is here. People will be taking care of this on social media at the end. So make sure you get in touch and find out more about life and legacy. And talking about life and legacy, I know you've had conversations with me about a will as well. So tell me about, you know, the importance of having a will. And is that another service that you provide to people?
Yeah, wills are important, man, because it's the only real legal way to make sure your wishes are carried out. So if you're someone who's got assets, and you want to leave it behind to certain people, you can name who you want those things to go to. You know, not everyone has a straightforward relationship situation as well. So you might have, you know, children in your relationship, you might have children with different partners, etc. Things might change. So you want to make sure those things are taken care of. One of the biggest things, to be honest with you, which I only learned when I got into this industry, is that when it comes to having children who are under the age of 18, if, God forbid, anything was to happen and as a parent pass away, or those who are named on the birth certificate, your children could actually go into care first before the social services vet your family and people around you to see who your children should go to. So to prevent your children going into care, naming a guardian in your will is the only legal way to do that. And just from experience as well, you know, we've all heard stories of when people pass away and there's bickering, there's fighting between families because a will wasn't left behind. Even famous people as well, you know, DMX, Prince, different people who didn't have wills in place, trusts in place. So families are not getting what they should do. It can get messy, man. So what I've done as a brokerage is that I've partnered with an estate planning firm where I'm able to gift a complimentary will to all my clients. So whenever I have that conversation with them as part of, you know, my USP, and what I offer is like a free will. So whether they're a client or not, so even if I have a consultation with someone and they don't take it out, I'm still happy to gift one because, you know, through my business, I pay a subscription for it, which adds up over the course of the year. But I know that it's something that can help the community and help people. So I do get a good number of wills that I can gift each month. So I don't always go through them. So there's times where I do, you know, put posts out there, and if anyone wants one, get in touch. I think I spoke to you about it as well. You know, just having the opportunity to share with people, and I'm more than happy to send it across. So yeah, that's what I do, man.
Yeah, man. And there we go, people. Get in touch with Cavell, find out more about what he offers, and get yourself a will as well. I know I've got one, and thanks to Cavell's information, it helped me to do that and just give myself some extra security, you know, for myself and my family as well. I know something else that you're really passionate about as well is sickle cell. And you do some work within the community as well. You raise awareness. So tell me a bit more about that passion that you have for sickle cell.
Yeah, so sickle cell is one of those diseases that are not a lot of people are aware of. And even though those who have heard about it, even within the community who have it, which is mainly the ethnic community, that still don't know what it is. So I'm someone who's a carrier. So basically, it's a disease that affects the blood cells. So blood cells should be circular. But when you've got a sickle cell, it's more like a sickle shape, like a half moon shape. So it's hard to travel through and it can get clogged up and it can lead to excruciating pain. So there's a lot of sickle cell warriors out there, man, who are going through that where they're having to have blood transfusions monthly. They can have something called a crisis, which can lead to hospitalization. They can be in hospital for days, weeks at a time. Yeah, man. And there's not a lot of awareness about it. So like I said, I'm a carrier. And I found out when I was a child that I have the trait, but that's all I knew. I didn't know much about it. And it's only till probably a couple of years ago I got to understand more about it. And it's a passion of mine because there's a couple of people that I know who have sickle cell, and I've seen how it's impacted their lives, their ability to live a life pain-free for one, but then the ability to work and, you know, earn a living for themselves. It can be difficult because you know what it's like when you're employed. Your employers are going to want to know that you can work, you know, consistently. But if you're having a crisis and you can't turn up, you can't show up, it can lead to people losing their jobs as well. So when I was working for my previous brokerage, there's a gentleman I know who has sickle cell, entrepreneurial guy. He runs a sickle cell charity in Manchester. He got in touch wanting to take out life insurance. And going back to what I said before, it's a luxury. When I tried to put it in place for him, got declined. Because what you got to remember is that if you're paying a certain amount each month for your policy, that's so that the insurance provider can pay you tens and thousands times more. So let's just say you're paying 10, 20, 30 pounds a month. That could probably get you whatever, you know, 100 grand, 300 grand a month life insurance. So if you picture yourself this way, let's just say you're the person who's insuring someone's coming to you saying, look, I'll give you £10 a month, but if anything happens to me, I want you to pay my family 100 grand. You're going to do your due diligence to see what their health, you know, history is like. So going back to this gentleman, couldn't get cover. And then when I changed my brokerage from where I was to where I'm at now, I've got what's called a whole of market panel. So I've got all the providers out there on my panel, including some specialist providers. One of them being a provider called MetLife. And they're a provider where they don't require any medical questions asked. It's a guaranteed acceptance. But one of the main benefits is the hospitalization cover. So anyone who's hospitalized due to an injury or illness, apart from mental health, it's a different type of hospitalization, but sickle cell, diabetes, whatever it may be, it pays out each night in hospital from between £50 to £250 a night. So as you can imagine, if you're a sickle cell warrior, you're in hospital so many times. Like I spoke to someone 2 weeks ago who reached out from TikTok, spoke to him, and in the last year, he's been in hospital about 10 times, he said, on average about 4 nights a time. So if you do the math, that could have worked out to be a lot. And it's not just about the money. It's about when you're going through things, whether it's, you know, it could be loss, it could be stress, whatever it may be, things are going on. Some of it can be led to because of mental health awareness. Some of it can be contributed to because of finances, because you don't know how you're going to take care of things. And, you know, so having some sort of cover which can relieve that can help you to focus on what's important, whether it's getting well. And again, people that are in hospital, even just paying for parking, travel, food, because not everyone likes hospital food. It all adds up. It costs money. Then you've got bills, etc., that are still going to be ongoing, because if you've got, you know, creditors, they're not going to say, oh, you're not well, so we'll write off that. Well, you owe, so, you know, you might get a holiday, but you're still going to owe it. So it's just getting that awareness out there, because a lot of sickle cell warriors I speak to are not aware of this policy. So I'm just trying to get that awareness out there, and more people are taking it on board. You know, come across people who have used it, which is good as well. So it fills, you know, other people with confidence. It even fills me with more confidence that I know people are using it. I know it works anyway, but to see people actually use it, it's great. And don't get me wrong, it's not just for people with sickle cell, it's for anybody. But I just find happy to find myself in this community right now, just sharing this information, which is helping, and hopefully will help more and more people, whether you have sickle cell yourself as an adult or you've got a child who has sickle cell. Because as parents, you're not protecting your child's finances, you're still protecting your own, because either one parent or both might have to take time off work to be with them. And then that might not always come out of paid leave. You got to take unpaid leave as well, which can have an impact. So yeah, it's been a godsend, man. I'm really blessed to know that this provider's out there, because it's helping a lot of people.
And that's so important to hear, that there is the right support for people that do have sickle cell, but then also to know that there are people like you raising the awareness, because, sickle cell, especially in the Black community, the numbers are very high. And often it is something that isn't discussed, or there's not a lot of information about it. To hear you doing what you're doing and spreading the information and the work is so important to put up. So credit once again to you for doing so.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, people, we're getting to that time where, we will be saying bye to Cavell soon, but I think there's so many things that you've opened today, and I guess a few things that I just want to touch into before we do end today. One of them is religion. You've mentioned religion, how important that is for you. So just tell me a little bit more about your faith and how important it is to have that connection with God.
Yeah, sure, man. So like I said earlier, when I grew up, my grandparents were Christians. So I used to go to Sunday school. Not that I wanted to at the time, more had to. Usually told as a kid. But as I got older, football became a big thing for me. So I started playing football on a Sunday when I was young. But when I was 17, I was at Crew still. My mum started going to church, and I thought I'll just visit one day. So I knew about God. I felt, because I knew the Alpha prayer, which doesn't mean I knew God himself, but I started going. And when I was going, I just felt like, you know what, this is something that I need to do. My relationship with God is important. And what I was hearing at the time really spoke to me. My belief in God increased, and I just believed that is real. So it's something that I've always held from when I was 17, a lot older now. That's carried me through life, really, and dictates how I operate as well. Generally speaking, what I do behind the scenes, I still know that, okay, although people might not see me, there's still a God that sees me. So I want to make sure I'm doing things in it with integrity and in the right way. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a big thing for me as well.
Definitely. And as you're talking, not only do I hear like the tenets and, the importance of being Christian, but I also hear from you the spiritual aspect as well, which I think is so important in terms of like your relationship and your connection to God. So that's something, even if it's just the calmness, in your voice, you can then up on that, there is an essence, like a spirit to you about that. Definitely. Hearing more about your faith definitely brings that hope.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, it's been a journey, man. And like I said, not that I'm going to spit any bars now. Like when I
maybe next time.
maybe next time. When I first started getting into my faith, at the time, obviously my mind was still elsewhere. Things were, interesting to me, and music being one of them. So I used to listen to a lot of rap music. I think at the time, 50 Cent, DMX, I used to listen to, and all that kind of stuff. So transitioning to listening to different type of music, I was like, this is me. So just started putting a few bars together. Got asked to do it first of all, actually. And then it became a passion of mine of how I could, get the message out there in a creative way. And that's what I've done for a number of years. But again, lockdown, I'm not done much since lockdown, but you've probably seen some of the insurance one. I've done something about insurance and stuff. Again, it's just a creative way to get a message across that some people might resonate with. So yeah, that's just part of who I am, that creative side of me, yeah.
Definitely make sure you check out Cavell on all social media platforms. So for people that may not have found you on social media yet, Cavell, where can they find you?
Yeah, so my name's Cavell Coo. So my surname is COO, just 3 letters. I'm on social media, so your Facebook, your Instagram, TikTok as well. So you can find me on there. My business is Life and Legacy, so you'll find me under that as well. But either way, you can connect with me that way. And yeah, get in touch, man. If anything that I've said today has resonated in any way, shape, or form, and you want to talk about it, I'm more than happy to, man. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
There we go, people. Make sure you get in touch with Cavell and find out a bit more about what he does. He has a lot to offer. He's very knowledgeable. He's very personable as well. So make sure you check him out. And music is a key part for me in terms of my healing. It's a form of therapy. And what I like to do on podcasts towards the end is play a song that resonates with that particular episode or just with me in general on that day. So as you know, Cavell, I've reached out to you and asked you a song, an inspirational song to you. And I know you've chosen one. So first of all, tell me about the song that you've chosen and then what you've done that intro it to the people.
Yeah, man. So when you ask me for it, it's funny because I will say I don't listen to music. I do, but not all the time. I used to listen to it a lot when I was in the car, but I'm kind of at home a lot or going to meetings and stuff. But this particular person is a rapper, Christian rapper as well, called SO. And the title of it's called Prosper. And it's just asking about God just putting things before him, knowing that whatever we get, it comes from him as well. So we've got to lay it before God and allow him to have his way with us. So let me just share it, man, because sometimes we need that healing. Sometimes not everything we go through is positive, but you need to have that hope as well, which is important. So yeah, that's what it's about. But one thing I wanted to say quickly as well, before you finish is because we met at the baby show in
Birmingham 2023, just before my son was born.
Yeah. So that was interesting, man, because it's come full circle. Because initially it was like, don't know someone, we connected. You came past the store, got your number and stuff. We connected, and eventually you acted upon it and took things out for yourself as well. So shout out to you as well, man, for doing what you felt was right for you and your family as well, man. Obviously, we've got a different type of relationship now as well. So yeah, it's been a blessing.
And again, I think I said it earlier, sometimes things are just meant to be. And I remember, I'll be honest, my partner will probably attest to that. I didn't even want to go to that show because, we're preparing for our little one. I think it's a lot away from him coming. And I was just like, I needed that time. I wanted to be in the house and start nesting and stuff. But she wanted to go badly. So I was like, you know what, I'll come with you. And when I first got there, I just wasn't really talking. And then I saw one brother with his partner, they were like selling some baby stuff. And that kind of warmed me up. And then I saw you. And then, from there, I was like, okay, I'm in the right place. There was something about this event that I had to, go to. And then, like you say, we've kept the link. Even when little one was born, we kept in contact a little bit, in those early months. But what I respect about you at that time is that you gave me time. You didn't pressure me. I did have other companies. I think you mentioned the sales element that would just like pepper on my phone, messaging every minute. And I'll be real, that just made me not want to speak to anything. But again, you were personable, you were patient with me, you were understanding. And then, that was just enough to be like, you know what, I'm going to speak to the girl. I'm going to make some time. And we had like an initial conversation. And then, like you say, it's gone circle where now we can have different types of conversations. So we'll be having a lot more conversations,
Yeah, I'm open, man. I'm open, bro. Yeah, I appreciate that as well, man. And that's what it's about, because people are people, innit? Like, can't just be transactional. I know we've, as men, as people in general, we're trying to make a living and grow our businesses, but you got to remember that you're dealing with people. So you got to meet people where they're at as well, which is important, and be genuine about it as well. So yeah, man, it's good.
It's all about realness, that always shines through in everything we do. So, big up once again. So we're going to get into your chat shortly. But before we do that, I just wanted to thank you for making the time. You're an entrepreneur, you're a father, you're a husband, you're a busy man, so you need to make it. I really appreciate it.